Hey everybody, I'm ZombieJohnny. Today we're going to be taking a look at a manga that was adapted from a short novel series. This is Vampire Hunter D. Vampire Hunter D was originally written by Hideyuki Kikuchi, originally conceptualized by Final Fantasy's character designer Yoshitaka Amano, and the manga was adapted and illustrated by Saiko Takaki. Vampire Hunter D was originally published in 2007 by Digital Manga Publishing. So I am breaking the mold a little bit with this review. I am looking at a single volume in a series of manga, which is something that I don't really like to do, but with Kikuchi's stories, they are all self-contained stories. The entire manga series of Vampire Hunter D is 8 volumes long. Each volume follows the original short story source material fairly closely, and each story is its own self-contained story. So I feel I'm breaking the mold a little bit, but I hope that you agree with this exception. The story of Vampire Hunter D opens with the explanation of the world being ravaged by nuclear war. The year is 12,090 AD. Radiation from the nuclear fallout spawned mutants and demonic beings. People roam the world dispatching of these mutant and demonic threats. These people are called vampire hunters. A man riding a horse is stopped by a young woman blocking his path. She questions him whether he is a hunter or not. Then she tests his skills by using her electrically charged whip, and he dispatches of her weapons very quickly. She then believes he is a true vampire hunter. She then shows the man the marks on her neck, the kiss of nobility, a vampire bite. The woman introduces herself as Doris Lang, and then tells the man the story of her problem. She needs the vampire that has given her the kiss of nobility destroyed. The man accepts and introduces himself as D. Doris and D head back to Doris's family farm, where D meets her younger brother Dan, and then they await the return of Count Magnus Lee, the vampire who kissed her. And this is where the adventure begins. Saiko Takaki is a close personal friend of Hideyuki Kikuchi, and she was chosen by DMP to adapt the short stories into a manga. Takaki's art style is fairly unique. I feel like it is taking influence from the film and Yoshitaka Amano's concept art for D. D has a fairly iconic and easily recognizable look. With his long flowing hair and large brimmed hat, he definitely stands out as a character. As far as I know, Takaki's work was all done digitally, but that doesn't take away anything from her style. Her line work is fantastic. The way she makes D look is amazing, ranging from tough and rugged to elegant and beautiful. I would say that her biggest take from Amano's work is the hair. Amano always has long, flowing strands, and Takaki captures that perfectly. Now, I have never read the original Vampire Hunter D short stories. I actually did not know that Vampire Hunter D was originally a short story series to begin with. I am a huge fan of the original 1985 film. This film was my childhood. I watched it countless times. I still watch it on a regular basis, usually when I'm 3 sheets to the wind in the wee hours of the morning, but I love this film. So let's talk about the film. Vampire Hunter D came out in 1985 and was directed by TOYOO ASHIDA. ASHIDA's main line of work was focused on character design and animation, but he has worked on anime titles such as Inuyasha, Pokemon, Moomin, Fist of the North Star, just to name a few. So yeah, ASHIDA is the one that is responsible for this.
お前はもう死んでいる。何？
Vampire Hunter D was not released in North America until the early 90s, and it was released by Urban Vision. It was one of the first anime films I ever watched, and of course, it was a film that was aimed for people who love horror. This film is filled with lots of action, gratuitous gore and nudity. It's just what a young teenage boy wants to see. Boobs and blood. I'm in. The film had a limited budget, so it's not exactly a marvel of animation, but it is still fairly well done. And it just reeks of that golden era of anime. So this film is checking all the boxes for me. That's probably why I still watch it to this day. The original novel of Vampire Hunter D follows the same story as the film and the manga, though there are subtle differences between the three of them. While adapting a novel into a film and a manga, they do take some liberties and workarounds to make the story work for the medium, but as far as I know, they are fairly true to the original source material. I am going to take a small sidebar and talk about Hideyuki Kikuchi. The fact that I am talking about one of his most famous works adapted into a manga, I feel that it's only appropriate to talk about the man himself. Kikuchi has been publishing works since 1982. His first published works is Demon City Shinjuku, which was also made into an animated feature. His other famous works include Dark Side Blues and Wicked City, both of which have been also adapted into animated features, all of which I have watched, and I suggest you watch them as well. They are fairly close to the same genre as Vampire Hunter D: demons, blood, gore, nudity paired with a great story, great animation, and great characters. All bases covered. I only own the first 2 volumes in the series, but I bought them when they first came out in 2007 and 2008. I watched closely on store shelves for the next volumes as they would come out, but I never did see them. As far as I can tell, they are fairly hard to come by. The presentation of this manga is actually pretty darn good. The manga is printed on a larger format, and the volumes include a dust jacket as well. Not too often do you see manga with dust jackets. The pages also have edge decoration as far as I can tell. Each volume has its own unique color. They went above and beyond to make this manga look good, inside and out. Back in 2007 when I first picked this up, it was about $12.95 Canadian. Considering a basic manga volume from any series usually runs for about $13 to $14 new, it's shocking considering how good the presentation for Vampire Hunter D is. I have read this manga numerous times and I still enjoy every read through. I found myself really appreciating Takaki's art during this time reading it. Overall, Vampire Hunter D Volume 1 is a wonderful story in the overarching story of D, manga and film alike. If you can get yourself a copy, I suggest you do, and watch the film. It's easy to find these days. Once again, I'm pretty sure there is a full version of the film on YouTube. Total page count, 250. Total volumes, 1. Total score, 4 out of 5. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the video. I had a lot of fun making this one. I really enjoy Vampire Hunter D, if you couldn't tell. Guess what? It's 2022. We're just gonna have lots of fun. We're gonna make lots of videos this year. I have a ton planned already, so just be prepared for me to be firing these things out. I have a couple that are pretty big, but I'm gonna try and do some shorter series in between them while I work on them, because there's one series that I think it's going to be a 2-part series. It's that big. But I hope everyone's staying happy, healthy, and safe. Got lots of videos planned. We got lots going on this year. So let's just keep the ball rolling. And I did notice that we are 6 subscribers away from 400. 400, folks. 400. So I'm super excited about that. I hope with these new videos coming out that will just skyrocket that subscriber count, and it's going to be a great year. Once again, I'm ZombieJohnny. Peace.